real heavy canvas and durable, especially for these boxes with the sharp corners. And if the pack animal hits a tree with the pack and bumps it, the lighter matty, it'll tear it or make a hole in it, just bruise a hole in it. But these I've used for years, and they won't shed much water, but they do protect everything and keep it all in one pack. Now I use a soft rope. Most of the ropes I use anymore is made of material called esterline, and it's soft and durable, and it doesn't get wet and doesn't freeze, get stiff and hard or dry. It's a real good strong rope. And this pack probably weighs 80 pounds, and it has the cook gear, a lot of the kitchen items that we use for a party of 5. Now I do take a lot of the slack out just by leaving the weight of the pack on that rope and jiggling it that way, and I can tighten up my ropes. I always tie them and throw a half hitch, have a little excess rope, so I just get rid of it any way I can. Now that pack, I think about 80 pounds.
You should take extra time and care on the way you pack your gear. Mountain conditions always present a challenge to your stock. Try using a waterproof plastic tarp to protect cargo that needs to stay dry, like clothes and sleeping bags. By adding a mantee over the tarp, you can avoid rips and tears from brush and other sharp objects. You'll also get more years out of the use of these tarps, too. Using the mantees over the plastic tarps also blends in visually with the natural environment. Panniers are wonderful and convenient to bring on a trip. They provide easy access to gear on the trail and are handy for storage at camp. They are, however, limited by their size and not being able to carry extra large items, and their weight must be exactly matched and balanced for travel. Be careful on how you pack your gear. Try to have even size and weighted packs so that they balance better on your stock. Remember to remove any slack rope while securing your mantees. This will reduce the chance of your cargo being shifted around and even the possibility of losing your load on the trail. Once everything is packed and cargoed, let's load the gear. Prepare your saddles with the appropriate rope to secure your load. One person can often load the packs, but it is sure nice when someone gives you a hand. Balance is everything when loading packs. I often use rocks or odds and ends like a camp shovel or axe to help even the weight. Sometimes it's best to put the lighter pack on first, followed by the heavier pack overlapping on top to balance out the weight. Check your saddle Ds afterwards so that they are centered on your animals.
How long this load is going to ride on this mule is, assuming the load is balanced, is dependent upon how tight this top rung is tied. If that's tight and snug into the D-rings, it's going to ride forever.
Are you done over there?
It's balanced.
Yeah. I was just going to take this light in.
After we get on the trail for a mile or so, it's a good idea to check your loads and make any adjustments for a better and smoother ride. It's a great feeling to be packed up and on the trail. This is now our opportunity to explore, have a good time, and visit some beautiful country. When we are on the trail, a good thing to remember is to position the slowest animal in the front of your pack string and place the fastest one at the end of the string. This provides an even pace on the trail and won't tire your animals out from racing up the trail. For distance and pace, I usually estimate about 3 miles per hour when I have a string of 3 or more pack animals. The distance between your stock is equally important and should be about 4 feet in length from the halter to the pigtail. Another item I use on the trail, particularly in steep country, is 1/4-inch manila rope. Using this type as your tie rope for the pack string provides a measure of safety in dangerous situations. The rope needs to break away if a mule falls off the trail so that it doesn't take the rest of the string with it. The trail itself can provide a wide diversity of conditions. For example, it's best to keep an axe handy in forest areas to remove fallen trees across the trail. I think it is a good courtesy to clear at least a 6-foot wide path in this case. Another precaution we should heed is limiting our stock impact by keeping them on the trail. Stay away from using shortcuts, and particularly avoid creating braided trails. These unsightly sores pose the most impact in the land that can exist for decades to come. Be sensitive to the land in wet conditions. Keep your string on the trail at all times. Looking for the right campsite takes a little scouting around the area. Find a site that accommodates both you and your stock for food, shelter, and water. In choosing a new or previously occupied site, start by applying a low-impact technique, such as locating your camp away from the water, including streams, lakes, and bog-like areas. It is recommended that at least 200 feet is the best distance to use away from water, and also use the 200 feet rule in camping out of sight from the trail. A good campsite contains a stock area and a camp and kitchen area. Keep them separate. We never keep stock in our camp. Besides, you don't like to live in a barn, do you? Find a location that is appropriate for the type of containment system you plan to use. Other considerations you should use would be find a site with good drainage, especially in the wet season. Watch out for dead trees. You never know how long they will stay there. When using a highline system, find an area with hardened or rocky ground that takes more of an impact. And I prefer to locate my camp on a small rise that might have a slight breeze in order to keep the bugs down and the smoke out of our eyes. I think our party has found a pretty nice spot this year, nestled in the heart of Idaho's wilderness country. After scouting out our campsite, we have a pretty good idea where to set up our kitchen, the tents, and where to settle our stock. I noticed water is located a few hundred feet away, and the meadow is ideal to try out our new electric fence containment system. Our first order of business is to drop our cargo at the campsite and then to immediately locate a containment area in which to set up a highline system. We divided our job duties so that one group stays with the stock and the other sets up the campsite.
Setting up camp is an essential ingredient on how we disperse our impact on the land. Most of it is using good common sense with a tread lightly attitude. I don't mean that you have to walk on tiptoes around your camp, but choose and use an area where the trampling of vegetation is kept to a minimum.